Keep going.
Wake up.
Alice? Waking up in the crashed car felt like I had woken from one nightmare and entered another. I couldn't remember how I got there. All I knew was that something terrible had happened to Alice. The phone was dead. I'd have to find help on foot. Among Alice's things was a book, The Creator's Dilemma, by a Dr. Emil Hartman. Seeing the book brought back my fight with Alice. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the guy's smug face on the cover either.
Now, how did we get here?
The gas station was my best bet. They'd have a phone I could use. It looked like a long hike through the forest to get there.
And quite a long hike it's gonna be.
Damn.
Well, at least we know we're not driving back. Ever. The rental place isn't gonna want their car back, right?
Hello? Hello? Is someone there? The loose sheets of paper were pages from a manuscript entitled Departure. That was the name I planned to use for the next novel I had never gotten started. I was named the author. I hadn't written it. I couldn't remember writing it. In the scene on the page, the hero was attacked by an axe murderer in the woods at night.
Yeah, okay. A murderer in the woods at night. That has nothing to do with this. Right? Right, yeah. Couldn't be.
Anybody there? Please, I've been in an accident.
Yep, totally nothing to do with anything. But manuscript pages are just another collectible in the game. They're kind of the main collectible, and just like the others, they're optional as well. But we're gonna get them all.
The lights up ahead were a good sign. Maybe I wouldn't have to hike all the way down to the gas station to find a phone.
Now we're not gonna read the manuscript pages, and I'll explain that in a later video when we get to that, but for right now, just enjoy the sight of me collecting them, I guess, as we try to hopefully find some people.
Anybody there? Please, I've been in an accident. Hey! Hey, you!
Phil!
There's been an accident. I need help.
Listen,
Deposit.
I need to...
Premium cabins for rent in...
Oh, hell.
Carl Stuckey. Pleased to meet you. Non-refundable reservation deposit required. Fair and square. And square.
Whoa, what happened to Stuckey? Last time we saw him, he was just, you know, a little sick. Now he's pretty sick. But at least he can run around like, well, a crazy person.
You lose?
Shit.
The deposit. It's the latest thing!
I had to figure a way out of this. Any second now, and Stuckey would be knocking on the door with his axe like Nicholson in The Shining.
Cool, so now we're stuck in an office while Stuckey runs around outside, being crazy.
You're doing your reckoning, trying walking. It's the latest thing. Incontestably proven health benefits. Let you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can see the sights and keep those cholesterol levels down at the same time.
Okay, that's enough of this crazy. Let's call someone.
Yes.
Bright Falls Sheriff's Station. How may I...
Hello? Hello?
Well, I guess that means the phones are dead.
This is bad.
That wasn't too bad. Now we get to watch it carry the whole thing down the cliff. But let's have a little bit of fun first and shock ourselves repeatedly.
The bulldozer had gone over the cliff with the office. I hoped Stucky had suffered the same fate, but I wasn't planning on staying to find out.
And one more for the road. 'Cause why not?
There were more of them. My head pounded with a concussion. I'd never fired a gun outside a shooting range, and now I just killed someone. Or something. There were no bodies. They just disappeared. If I was dreaming, it felt real enough to make me sick.
So, let's follow these arrows.
Eerie hand-painted graffiti was revealed by my flashlight. Someone had hidden a chest of supplies near it.
So throughout the episodes, we'll sometimes find little markers that we can only see with our flashlight. And if we follow them, we can always get to a chest that has really good supplies. In this case, a flare gun. But it looks like we can't cross this right now, so we're gonna have to knock out the power first. I guess, literally, knock out the power.
The dark forest was the last place I wanted to go, but I had no choice. I had to get to the gas station.
It's rabbit season.
Okay, so you hide behind a barrel, waiting for me. Then you jump out, and your big moment is to yell, "It's rabbit season?" Dude, really? Come on. You're supposed to be spooky. That's informative, if anything.
What the hell was that?
And don't think you've seen the last of those little flashbacks. There's still a couple left.
When I saw the river below, something uncoiled itself inside my head. I realized that I'd have to find a way across. I didn't even want to look at the water.
And for the most part, these levels are pretty linear. There may be a little bit of backtracking in some of them, but they're not too complicated. This place only looks difficult because we're going to go find collectibles like this thermos, but if you really just follow the lights and stay on a straight path, you shouldn't get lost too easily. It's not to say you can't, because you totally can. There we go. And now that we've got that page, we can finally get back to... That's right, getting to the gas station. And it's actually kind of strange that Stucky actually appears there for a split second. You can't do anything, but he's there.
Stucky was still out there, in the dark, stalking me.
And just because he was talking about Nordic walking doesn't mean he's done being crazy. So the AI is not too bright in this game. If you get to a point to where they physically cannot reach you without throwing things at you, they'll just kind of back up forever. They're never going to stop. So it looks like we've got another chest up here. And as you can probably already tell, the chests aren't too hard to find, even if you're not looking for them.
Taken. They're taken.
So, now we have a name for the bad guys, the Taken, because they were taken. That's good enough. So chests like this, as you can see, they're not too hard to find. This one was really only a matter of looking left before you look right, and you'll find it. So some of them are kind of difficult to find, they're a little out of the way, but overall, they're not too bad.
The staircase was broken. I had to make my way up some other way.
Wait, so a wooden staircase in a lumberyard is broken and no one fixed it? At all? Really? Okay. Now let's go see what this blinking light is.
There was no power. There was bound to be a generator somewhere at the logging site.
So let's look for one back here. And it's entirely possible to take care of the generator without killing any of these guys, but it would be so incredibly annoying to try that we're just not going to. Because if you get interrupted at any point during the generator, you have to start the whole QuickTime all over again. So it's a lot easier to just deal with enemies than it is to try to avoid them. At least some of the time. But before we head back, we've got a manuscript page and a new weapon. So, shotgun's a shotgun. Shoots hard, but doesn't have a whole lot of bullets. So, I'm not going to use it right away. I'm going to save it because I've only got 2 shots. But you'll see what I mean when I say it's pretty powerful. So now that we've got that in place, now we can head forward. And yeah, that's kind of the extent that we're going to see sort of puzzles in this game. It's really just go here, do this, and then make a path. We're not going to see that too much more, but it's fine. And yeah, I needed to use a shotgun there. It just felt right. Even though I said I would conserve my ammo. But there's some here, so I can pick that up.
Well, I was just outside for a breath of fresh air, and what a night. I know most of you are probably in your beds by now, but if you're still up and around, take a moment. Step outside for a spell and breathe in deep. The weather is absolutely still. The sky is crystal clear. It's like the forest is quietly breathing along with you. As you listeners know, I'm a night owl, and it's on nights like this I wish I wasn't cooped up in the studio. Makes an old man like me wish I could just roam wild. But here I am, and it would keep you company all night long if I weren't. It looks like I'm not the only one staying up late. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Pat, it's Maurice Horton.
Hello, Maurice. What are you up to?
Well, I was just taking Toby on his walkies.
Oh, isn't it beautiful out there?
Sure, but Pat, the reason I called is that Toby heard something rustling in the undergrowth and took off after it, and I couldn't find it.
Probably a rabbit.
Sure. Toby loves rabbits.
Well, sure.
Anyway, I figured that, if anyone runs into Toby, they could grab him. My number's on his collar.
And Toby's a friendly dog?
Oh, Toby loves people. Usually he comes back, but we were pretty far from home, and it sounds like he went pretty wild there. Great dog, but he's just too dumb for his own good.
Well, Maurice, it's out there now. Hope Toby comes home soon.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
You have a good night now.
Oh, I hope Toby's okay. Spoiler alert, though, he's not. He's totally not. And no real arrows for this one, but it's still a chest with flare gun ammo, so we're gonna hold on to that as much as we can. Well, there's the gas station, so we must be getting closer.
The gas station was closer now, its light welcoming in the darkness.
Paul makes the best dogs in the state. Belly Burster is the best with no contest.
Also, these are the weirdest names for hot dogs I've ever heard. So, here's what a shotgun does. So on normal mode, all of those little guys, if you get them close enough, will be taken out with one shot by a shotgun. The larger enemies, not so much, but we'll save the ammo specifically for them, just in case. And normally only those last two guys spawn, so these next guys kind of caught me by surprise, especially since I didn't get any sort of introduction that they were coming. So yeah, you'll only get the little kind of cinematic intro when you can't see the enemies spawning, like if they're off to the side or if they're behind you. If they're right in front, you better see them first. Otherwise, it's gonna hurt. But we're heading towards just about the last area. It's still pretty big, but there's no turning back after this drop. And this looks like it's our last chest of the episode. And more flare gun ammo. This is going to come in handy very, very soon. And I also wanted to see if you could jump up on here. And you totally can.
I never touch salad, though. A man like me needs a hefty meal. That's for the day.
He just loves food, doesn't he? Food and walking. So this is actually a new enemy type. These guys are kind of, I like to call them the smaller enemies, but they're really a lot quicker. They only take 2 shots, but they can get up in your face very, very quickly. And they usually slash at you a couple times, so if you get surrounded by 2 or 3, it's pretty much game over, even on the easiest difficulty. And in here we have a new type of, I guess, collectible. And I can't really zoom in on it, but I tried to get as much in as I could.
Science. It bestows immortality on those who advance it to elevate all of mankind. Newton, Einstein, Sagan, princes among men. But the price for such a legacy is steep indeed. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a quantum suicide. If our lives are already written, it would take a courageous man to change the script. Having called a press conference, Dr. Barclay Colvin is about to demonstrate that very courage.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am Dr. Barclay Colvin, and I'm glad so many of you could join me here at the Moorcock Institute. Tonight, I'm going to give a practical demonstration of the many worlds interpretation. As you can see, this is a loaded 9mm pistol. It shall be part of a thought experiment. And now, a real experiment, known as a quantum suicide.
Did he say suicide? Is that a real gun? He's kidding, right?
Please, please, stay calm. There is no risk. Observe what occurs when I place the weapon against my own forehead. Now, you might think this round is merely a dud. Not so. Observe the flower pot. And yet, I myself cannot be harmed with this gun. With each pull of the trigger, 2 new realities branch off. One in which the weapon didn't fire, and one where it did. With my machine here, I have ensured that this reality is always the former. I have bestowed upon myself quantum immortality. Under no circumstances can this gun kill me.
So wait. What you're saying is that every time you pull the trigger, in another reality, you die?
Yes, of course, but that's completely trivial. There's an infinite number of things that could happen at any moment, and they always do happen somewhere. The point is, this one thing did not happen here.
You're insane, Colvin.
Insane? Insane?
Hey, was this thing supposed to be plugged in? I stumbled on it.
You fools! Gaze upon quantum immortality.
Poor Dr. Colvin, felled by his own hubris or the ignorance of the masses. Perhaps he should have left the crate unopened, the decaying atom unobserved. Curiosity often kills the cat. Night Springs.
So Night Springs is easily an homage to the Twilight Zone, especially in its presentation. And there was actually a couple cool little things that you might not have known about that episode. The Moorcock Institute is named after Michael Moorcock. He was an English writer from like the 1950s up to today who wrote a lot about the multiverse theory. And even the doctor's name, Dr. Barclay Colvin, is a reference to 2 of his pen names that he used to write under, Bill Barclay and James Colvin. It's kind of pedantic little information, but the nice reference and the cool detail is definitely worth it.
And, as you might think, it can be dangerous.
So here's what a boss fight looks like in Alan Wake. Because we saved up that flare gun ammo, we're gonna use it.
Too cool! Dropping tools!
Stucky's body vanished, leaving behind only a lifetime of nightmares to come, assuming I'd reach the lights of the gas station alive.
So I didn't really give Stucky a chance to show off what he does. In the next episode, I'll be able to more clearly show what a boss fight in this game actually looks like. But for right now, just know that they're kind of main townspeople rather than just anonymous Taken that act in a very, very different way. But using the flare gun, if we stock up on stuff like that, makes boss fights incredibly easy.
I recognized the parade float I had seen in Bright Falls when I first arrived with Alice.
Well, that certainly got around. Was it supposed to be all the way out here?
After the insanity I had just experienced in the darkness, the lights of the gas station felt comforting. At least for a moment, the sane world reasserted itself. The Deer Fest had been 2 weeks away when we arrived. If the day count on the banner was right, I was missing a whole week between the night we got here and now.
So, we woke up in a car crash a week after diving into a lake, and we have no idea what's going on. But we can't get too comfy with the gas station here, because there's a collectible all the way down this road that we gotta go get. And of course, we can't just walk down here and get it. We need to be attacked. Let's not deal with these guys. Except for him. We'll deal with him. The other guy, he'll give up and just turn back.
I had to get inside the gas station to find a phone to call for help. The garage was a mess. It looked like someone had trashed the place, or that there'd been some kind of fight.
All right. I'll keep writing. Outside, there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her. I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost.
I don't believe this. It'd been me on the TV, talking crazy. Was I losing my mind?
Well, let's try to find a phone. But first, there's a couple things in here I want to show you. Another sort of collectible are signs that we have to read. There's nothing story-wise important, it just adds to the overall atmosphere. For this one, it's more about the Deer Fest, which is apparently a pretty big deal. And as you could see when we walked in, there was a poster for Nordic walking, so Stucky was really into that. But my favorite is over here in the corner. It's really hard to make out, but you can see that it says Skanky Ho Sunglasses. It is the level of detail like that that's kind of weird and kind of cool all at the same time. But let's just finally call the sheriff's office and get out of here.
Bright Falls Sheriff Station.
Oh, thank God, Sheriff.
Sheriff Sarah Breaker. You are...
I'm Alan Wake, but listen. I was in a car crash. My wife, Alice, she's missing.
Calm down, Mr. Wake.
We were staying in a cabin on the island, on Cauldron Lake.
There's no island on Cauldron Lake. Not since the big eruption in the 70s.
Please, I can take you there, okay?
You look like you've taken a pretty bad knock to the head. Are you okay?
Listen.
We'll figure this out. Please get in the car. We'll swing by the lake and then we'll go to the station, okay? Mr. Wake, have you seen Stucky, the guy who owns this place?
I realized I couldn't tell her what had happened in the forest. She wouldn't have believed me. And then she wouldn't have helped me with Alice.